Right, will Tottenham Hotspur be a Premier League team next season? They are teetering on the edge of relegation, just one place and 1 point above West Ham, who are in 18th after losing to Nottingham Forest yesterday. Will former Spurs players Tim Sherwood and Michael Dawson believe the squad is full of confusion and void of confidence?
What do they do? You've got 7 games left between now and the end of the season. You've got someone who goes in there now. You've got to do a quick turnaround.
If they do make the change, they have to get someone who knows it already, who's come in. There's 7 games left, 21 points to play for, and it's a huge task.
I don't think it's too late. I think I would keep them in the Premier League. I mean, I believe that someone with common sense keeps them in the Premier League. They have the quality to be able to do it. You have to get them feeling good again. You have to get the confidence in the group.
I went down the route of Robbie Keane, and people will say, why? He's managing in Israel, he's now in Hungary doing really well. I think I went down that route because he's now a relative manager and he knows the football club. He knows what it takes to get these players out of trouble.
They need to be organised. It's not complicated. You drill them every single day, 11v11s. They know exactly where their positions are. And when Mickey starts dribbling the ball and Maisie him around the field, you stop him. You say you don't know. If you're having to do that and Romero's having to burst forward and try and affect in forward areas, it's because we're not doing something right up there. Stay in your positions. Keep a clean sheet first and foremost. If you can't win the game, you don't lose it. Keep them organised.
He has to simplify. He has to get players in the right position. I looked at his team yesterday. You've got Mickey van der Ven playing left back. No problem. But then at half-time, I'm thinking, right, what does he do? He brings a doggy on. I thought he might start. Pedro Porro moved from right wing to right back. Kevin Danzo is playing right centre-half in the first half. Him and Romero switch round. I mean, there's so many changes in games that just confuses the players.
It's not good enough. The organisation, the cohesion between the whole squad, what comes from work on the training pitch, is just not there. It's 100% not there.
He's changing formations. He's trying to find different personnel in different positions. And that, for me, is desperation and sort of showing that, you know, he's trying everything, but it's just not working.
So are Spurs heading towards relegation? The pundits, as we heard from them there, they're saying the players are confused. But are they right? 5 Premier League games in charge for Igor Tudor, and certain players have been consistently shuffled around. Archie Gray has probably come through this period with the most credit in the Spurs squad. He's already played 5 different positions. Jed Spence has been wing-back and full-back on both sides. Pedro Porro has gone from playing as a centre-back on the right-hand side through to a right midfielder against Nottingham Forest. And Tudor was brought in because of his record of galvanising a squad straight away. But it has not worked out like that at all. We can take a look at the new manager bounces at Spurs since the start of the 2010-11 Premier League season. We've taken the points per game of the manager who started the season in charge and then matched it up with the managers who have taken charge afterwards. And for example, when 2 different managers have taken over, like Christian Stellini and also Ryan Mason in 2022-23, we've compared their points per game with Antonio Conte, as you can see, who was in charge at the start of that season. Spurs, under Igor Tudor, almost a point per game worse off under the current manager than they were under Thomas Frank. He has the worst record here out of anyone. Both Stellini and Mason couldn't lift Spurs after Conte's exit, both taking points per game fewer than the predecessor. Then we come to the managers who've had a positive impact. Tim Sherwood had a good points per game record and also sat at 0.22 points per game, better than Andre Villas-Boas. In his first spell in charge, if we look at Ryan Mason here in 2020-21, he had a good uplift compared to the previous manager. And if we come to the manager with the biggest bounce as well, Jose Mourinho took over from Mauricio Pochettino, and Spurs had won 5 games until the November of that season when Pochettino left the club. Mourinho took more than half a point per game more than Pochettino in that season. But right now, Spurs, as you can see, trending in the opposite direction.
Yeah, not what fans want to see at all, is it, Clinton? We spoke about this a little bit in the last hour here on the Premier League show. Do you feel like now, you were saying before you can't actually see the next game that Spurs could actually pick up a result. Do you feel like it's necessary that they make a change?
Yeah, I do think it's necessary. I even thought it was necessary even when they got a draw against Liverpool and beat Atletico Madrid, because I I just thought they played against... Yeah, it was a false result against Liverpool. I thought Liverpool were poor on the day. I thought Atletico Madrid not really had much. The game was already over. The damage was done at Atletico Madrid's ground. So, yeah, it was all... But fair play to the group of players. They turned up, and there is talent in that group of players. I just feel it's difficult because when you're not winning football matches, he's been brought in to do a job, and he keeps changing the team. You want a settled team when you're... But obviously, you don't know his best formation. He wants to play a 3 at the back. He probably hears us on the TV saying they're not good enough, or the players are not good enough to play a 3 at the back. Then he's gone to a 4-4-2, which kind of worked at Liverpool. But is it the way? I understand, I get it, because you're getting the best out of Richarlison and Solanke, and they could get you the goals. But I just think they haven't had that manager bounce. Emma, what I've known, having been involved in football and watched football for so many years, is when you have an interim manager, you get a manager bounce. I have not seen that at Tottenham yet. And the games are running out at the moment, and they are in massive trouble. As I said, the Forest game was a cup final. It's not good enough. So whoever goes in there, one thing you need to do is not go in there and be critical of the players. Some players need to put their arms around and tell them they're good players and give them confidence, because their confidence will be so low at the moment. Not many players will want to get on the ball and make things happen. The fear of giving the ball away, but you're big players. You've been bought for big money. Now it's time to start producing. And if you need to change the manager, the hierarchy, and put your hand up and say you've made a mistake, I'd rather you do it and make a mistake now than wait till the end of the season and Tottenham are in the Championship.
Well, it's interesting when you actually compare them to Nottingham Forest, who, of course, look, it was a massive result for them yesterday. But you look at Forest and say they've been pretty volatile, haven't they, in terms of their managerial situation this season? But have they made the changes at the right time?
Yeah, but the manager, that's what the manager...
And the right decisions.
Sorry, that's what the chairman does at Forest. He makes big calls. He runs the football club. It's his club. He don't want his club to be playing Championship football, so he makes the decision. Maybe everyone will hold their hand up and say, are they the right decisions? But come the end of the season, if Forest stay in the Premier League, then it happens to be the right decision, whether you like it or don't like it. At the moment now, these Tottenham owners who are in there at the moment have to make the decision, is Igor Tudor getting the best out of this group of players, and can he get Tottenham out of trouble? And me being the person I am now, with my opinions, I don't think he's the right man to get Tottenham out of trouble in this precise moment. And I'm just being honest. He is usually the guy that comes in and puts out fires. He ain't putting out no fires at the moment, and he's been really disappointing. So I think they've got this break now. But as I said, make the change. But then a lot of players are away on international duty, so you're only going to probably have a week to work with those players. But if you're a manager, you've got to back yourself to go in there, because they're not bad players. They have some very good players.
I mean, if he's not the firefighter, who is then?
But who wants it? Dorse just said, obviously, we keep talking about Tim, and for the short appointment, I think for the 6-7 games, Tim would probably be the right appointment. But I like someone like a Robbie Keane as well. But I know Robbie. Robbie's not going in for 6-7 games. He's not leaving the club he's at now to go in for 6-7 games. No chance. He's done his whole work in Israel and Hungary, and he's done ever so well with the teams that he's been at. But at the moment, he wants an opportunity where you give him a 2 or 3 year deal. So Robbie ain't going to go in and do it for 6-7 games. He might do. He might do. But me knowing how I know Robbie Keane, I'm not sure he'll go and do that. So you need a manager. And probably look at it at the moment, you probably think, who's out of a job? Someone like a Sean Dyche, with rumours of him maybe going in. And that would be quite funny, wouldn't it?
From Forest.
From Forest as well. But you're probably looking at it and you're probably saying at the moment, Tim Sherwood probably is nailed on. And Tim said he can keep them up. I'm here for it if he goes in and he keeps them up, because it'd be a good story, wouldn't it?
It would.
Result for Nottingham Forest, the first win for them under Vitor Pereira, but Spurs' problems only deepen with that result, which has left them in a very difficult, precarious situation. Forest leapfrog Spurs, so they're only 1 point above the bottom 3. Forest now have a little bit of daylight, 3 points between themselves and West Ham United. It feels, Jamie, like a result of potentially huge significance, that one.
Yes, very much so, especially for Nottingham Forest, as we can see there. I mean, the only bonus for today was the fact that West Ham got beat as well. Do we know that? Yeah.
Well, we do now. No, you try hiding a result these days, it's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing they can take from the game here, Tottenham. And we're now looking at a team, you cannot believe, a club the size of Tottenham have won 1 of the last 15 Premier League home games. Unbelievable.
Let's have a look at the goals. And a point you made when we watched this live a long time ago was that it was an issue with crosses yet again for Spurs.
Well, 3 crosses, 3 goals. Now, one of the things that Tottenham have actually excelled in this season is actually set pieces for and against. But it's been a huge issue in the Premier League all season. We just look at the situation now, and there's 14 players in the 6-yard box. We see that a lot now. Nottingham Forest trying to identify the back post, and we'll just roll it in and get the goal. And you'll say it's worked well, but they don't actually work it perfectly, Nottingham Forest, because what they really want to do, and we can see it on the second line, it's a fantastic header, and we'll get to that again on the next angle. But we see this a lot with teams now, so there's a lot of commotion at the back post. As the ball's about to be kicked, we'll stop it now, and they have got it exactly how they want it. Milenkovic, the best header of the ball for Nottingham Forest, they want him free at the back post, so that is the plan. He gets free, but the ball doesn't land exactly where he wants it, and it falls to Jesus, who pulls in a brilliant header. But we didn't give him enough credit when we were watching this, first of all, because he's actually going backwards when he heads it. He's not coming onto it. Keep an eye on him. You see him? He's coming actually towards the 6-yard box. The ball was from Milenkovic. He then gets muscled out of it. But you see him. You can see his head movement. He's almost coming round the ball to get his head on it. It's a brilliant header.
It's a lovely angle, that, actually.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because a lot of those headers often go straight up in the air, don't they? Get a sort of a loop on them.
Yeah, and listen, we see, teams coming at the back post. If it was from Milenkovic, he's coming onto the ball. But this header, as I said, we weren't doing our jobs when we looked at it first of all. You can see him, he just moves his neck inches to make sure he gets round it, to make sure he gets it inside that post. Brilliant goal from Nottingham Forest. The plan was for Milenkovic, but I'm sure they're not complaining right now.
Very nicely worked goal. Changes at half-time. What difference did they make, if any, for Spurs?
I'm not just saying this after the event. When I saw the decision to make 2 changes, listen, we don't know if they were injuries, but it felt a little bit of a panic move. I don't think Tottenham were that poor in the first half. I think they were the better team and just conceded a set-piece goal. And it just felt a little bit early to make those changes, and it just... something about it just didn't feel right in terms of Bergvall going on the right wing. It wasn't right. But we're now going to look at the second goal for Nottingham Forest and look at Morgan Gibbs-White, and we'll just highlight him first here. And what he does now on the ball is something I don't think any Tottenham midfield player can do. Now, anyone they have on the books, I don't think have the ability to get the ball in midfield, check the shoulders and get on the half turn and be looking forward. That's been a problem for Tottenham all season.
Anyone who's fit, James Maddison might argue.
Yes, OK. But in terms of the players who've played this season, but Morgan Gibbs-White, for me, he is one of the star players for Nottingham Forest. Him and Anderson in that midfield. And as I said, complete contrast to what you see for Tottenham. But I just want to stop it now and look at this from Tottenham's point of view. So you've got a situation here when Morgan Gibbs-White picks that ball up. I mean, the space he's afforded there, the start of the second half, you're losing 1-0 in a relegation dogfight game, and he's got all the time in the world there. You can't quite believe it. Well, you can. It's Tottenham. But what compounds this and makes it even worse is that when he then comes into the traffic of Tottenham players and the ball goes out wide, I think it's really good out there, Callum Hudson-Odoi. And as this ball comes in, and he's just about to finish, you've still got this situation. So can you accept it in the middle of the pitch? Maybe. In the box, you've seen him, he's turned on the ball, he's played it wide, he's then made a run, a straight run into the box, and he still has that amount of time. And that smacks of a lack of leadership and organisation, and players standing there letting things happen and not doing anything about it. That is unacceptable at any level of football.
Gets a good strike on it, good contact as well, doesn't he? And this is why Spurs were so keen to get in themselves and Forest was so desperate to keep him. Anything that the goalkeeper could have done in that situation?
It's one of those goals that doesn't look great, but you're just throwing yourself at it. Listen, it just goes in underneath him. I've picked on the goalkeeper quite enough this season. I wouldn't point the finger too much, but...
And he's going to have an operation very soon, and we'll see how quickly he returns from that. 3-0 just feels so much worse, Jamie.
Yeah, it does. And this is a brilliant goal from Nottingham Forest. And it was Nico Williams who put the corner in brilliantly for the first goal, and he's involved in this one as well. Cross. Again, Spurs don't win it. There, I think it's Sarr who finds himself at right back, but that is a cross Dennis Irwin would be proud of as a left back, coming inside on that right foot and whipping it in. You can see there was no problem with offside there. They got bodies up the pitch. Awonyi, who comes on sub, always does a really good job, but it's a brilliant cross in. I think it's one of those ones that's really difficult to defend. You can't really have too much of a go at Tottenham in this instance, but brilliant goal from Nottingham Forest. I think the first win in the Premier League under the new manager, and 3 points, but also psychologically what that'll do for both teams.
You might be aware as well that Igor Tudor didn't do any of his post-match media duties because straight after the full-time whistle he was informed of a family bereavement, and of course we all send him our very best wishes with that. He has inherited a really difficult situation at Spurs, of that there is no doubt, and the question I suppose is, Jamie, what is the impact that he's had there and how we measure it? There was talk before the game today that not by you, I have to say, but the draw at Anfield, the victory over Atletico Madrid in what felt a bit like a dead rubber, gave Spurs room for optimism going into this game today.
I think when you're a Spurs fan, you're trying to cling to anything to give you some sort of hope and optimism. I didn't buy that in terms of drawing with Liverpool, which I thought was one of the poorest games I've seen this season in terms of quality from a Premier League game, but it was a great result for them that they didn't expect. The Atletico Madrid one, the game is over. But listen, OK, they won a game. It's nice to win a game. So there's a feel-good factor. You saw the scenes outside the stadium to try and help the team. It's their team. No matter who the manager or who's playing, it's their team. They want to fight for their team. I get that. But the whole reason the manager was brought in was because he's had an impact initially at other clubs. That's the whole remit for him. And you look at these other clubs here,
He came in March 2024 at Lazio and took 12 points from his first 5 league games, helping them secure Europa League qualification. Again, it was a March appointment the following year at Juventus. 10 points from the first 5 league games, which helped them towards the Champions League. So you can see what the theory was behind it in that sense. But is it very difficult when you're fighting for survival at the other end?
Yes, and listen, he had a job to do, which is the biggest one is to keep Tottenham in the league. But the whole point was to come in and make an impact really quickly. He hasn't made that impact, unfortunately, for him and for the club. And I think it was always felt that once you got to this international break, it's almost a see where we are. And I think the situation that Tottenham are in right now, unfortunately for him and the club, it hasn't worked.
So what do they need, do you think?
I don't think any manager can come in right now and make the players fitter, make them better. The only thing you can do is try and make them more confident and have more belief in themselves.
Someone to love them.
Yes, and I think someone with an affiliation to the club in terms of trying to get the supporters involved. You've got to try and think, how can we keep this group of players and this club in the Premier League right now? OK, we need togetherness. That was the first time I've seen it for a while in terms of the scenes outside the stadium. But they need something like that between now and the end of the season, because right now they have to, unfortunately for him, with the situation he finds himself in, with his family and the results, I think it would be better if Tottenham parted ways with Tudor and looked to a way to bring another manager in between now and the end of the season.
It does feel like this is the time, if they're going to do it, doesn't it? With 3 weeks now until their next action.
Yeah. No, they have to do that now, and it just hasn't worked. The manager's tried different things as well, different systems, different styles of play. Initially, he came in, was playing sort of man-to-man pressing with a 3 at the back. He's now changed in the last couple of games where it's a 4-4-2, very direct football. So he's trying different things, and it's just not working. And as I said, it's harsh on the man who loses his job so early in his reign. But the whole point of the reason why he got the job was that he has an instant impact, and that has not happened.
We'll come to Tottenham's plight in a moment, but let's first of all deal with Nottingham Forest. They've gone 7 Premier League games without a win. Alan, we knew the importance if there was a winner in this fixture. I mean, how big a result is that for Forest?
Outstanding, I thought they were from start to finish. Well, their manager summed it up really well. Even when they were under bits of pressure in the first half, without the ball, they stuck together, defended well, they relied on the goalkeeper on the one occasion. The Spurs had an effort on target. But even when they had the ball, they were a threat. And once they got that goal just before half-time, I thought the way they handled the pressure, because both clubs are under huge pressure, I thought the way they handled the pressure, both with and without the ball, I thought it was much, much better than Tottenham. They thoroughly deserved the win, and they've put a statement down. That's the level of performance now which they've set, and they have to stick to that now. And if they do, they'll have more than enough to steal.
What about the reaction? I know the timing was just before half-time when Spurs went 1 down today. from your former club?
Well, I thought there would have been a reaction. I don't think there was any reaction, to be honest. It's quite interesting. You listened to the interview there and he spoke about being a better team in the first half. I don't see that. Yeah, they created 1 or 2 chances. I thought Tell was good in the first half. But I'm thinking about any other player. I don't think there was any sort of like decent level of performance against Liverpool the second half. Those were the signs for me. That was the level. And I thought I would see that today, especially being at home in such a big game. You look at the goals that they conceded, not good enough. You know, the first goal from a set piece, not making contact, not making it difficult to go and to win the ball. The second goal was too easy. Morgan gives right to have that space in the middle of the box. Yeah, it's baffling when you're struggling at the bottom of the league. But yeah, it's just the same. We've seen it all season, and it seems to be getting worse. That's the worrying thing.
Yeah, because we all said a great point at Anfield when no one expected it. But today, all the expectancy back at home was on Spurs. What were they going to have? What did we find out?
Well, we found out that we're a weak set of players. Not that we needed to know that, because they wouldn't have been in this position anyway, both mentally and physically. Now, you're looking for something after the Liverpool performance, because there was no real pressure going to Anfield, because everyone thought that they were going there and Liverpool were going to win, so they're not really under that much pressure. They'd already put in a poor performance in the Champions League in the first game, so they're almost out of that, so really nothing to lose. But today was the time to gauge them and say, well, OK, what have you got from that, if anything? And the answer was there for all to see. They didn't put up much of a fight, didn't offer very much. They were all over the place defensively, and that would be the big worry, is because the one good thing or better thing that Forest have is that they seem to enjoy the work off the ball than Tottenham do, and that's why I think Forest will have a better chance of doing that, because albeit they don't create as many chances, they don't score as many goals, Nottingham Forest. I know they've got the 3 today, but the work they do off the ball defensively looks a lot better than it does for Tottenham, and they seem to enjoy it more than Tottenham Hotspur do.
And we saw the ground empty. They've got 10 home points all season. That is the worst out of all teams in the Premier League. That includes Wolves and Burnley. I mean, it's a real issue, isn't it, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Of course, and normally you rely on your home form. You want to try and create like a fortress at home, and especially with a stadium like that, you've got to give the fans something to cheer about. You know, you've got to make it uncomfortable for the opposition to come, using the fans. But they've not done it all season. I think the opposition actually enjoy coming to Tottenham now. They look forward to it. They look forward to coming and playing on that pitch and, you know, the stadium. And for whatever reason, for the home team, it's just been difficult, not being able to, not just the results, but the performances. Look at the performance, and it's not like we're creating loads of chances and you're coming away from it thinking, oh, do you know what, it was unlucky day. Creating a lot of chances. If we keep doing that, then eventually we'll get results. It's not been the case. It's bad performances. You look at the Palace game at home, terrible performance, didn't look like winning. The game today, I thought throughout, even in the first half, I thought Forest were better. And when they got the first goal, I just couldn't see Tottenham getting back into it.
So, Igor Tudor, as you saw, 5 games in charge, 1 point, although it's a point at Anfield. That's the worst record in the 5 games in any team in the Premier League. They don't play for another 21 days as we sit here now. Would the club be considering changing again to get some sort of reaction with 7 games left?
I think they're going to have to. I think, obviously, for Igor, it's unfortunate for him that he's not managed to come in and probably get the reaction that he thought he would get, because he came in quite confident. You know, he came in and said, no, we'll stay up 100%. And it's just not happened. It seems to be getting worse, to be honest, from the Thomas Frank. Too easy to play against. Don't seem to be any structure. You know, conceded too many goals, not creating enough. And I think they have to. I think the games are running out and you're going to have to do something. Otherwise, you know, the club's in big trouble. A lot of these players and the club, the fans included, probably not experienced this for a long, long time. Last season, it was difficult as well. But even from last season to now, it's a lot worse. Of course, you've got the injuries. You've got some coming back, which was good. And you thought, OK, then at least we've got a couple coming back, sort of like that will help the team. Again, it's just not happened. So I can imagine, of course, the board are going to have to consider doing something.
If you were running Tottenham, going to bed tonight, would that be on your agenda?
I think it has to be, Steve. And if it's not, then there would be something wrong. My guess would be they were even contemplating speaking to people, or should have been speaking to people before the Liverpool game, just in case what happened, if that had been beaten at Anfield, then they were perhaps ready to go. And I guess if it was a close-fought game today and it was a scrappy 1-0 and they'd be beaten, and you say, OK, a little bit unlucky, then maybe not. But I just think the manner of the defeat today, of how easy it was in the end for Forest, then you think, well, if they're not contemplating or they're not thinking about making a change, then they should be. Because it doesn't, forget about egos, forget about disappointments, forget about anything else. Finance, cost, whatever. The only thing that matters now for Tottenham Hotspur and their fans is staying in this division. Now, the time for an inquest will be after the season, and then other people might go because of it. That doesn't matter. But the only thing that matters now is somehow, by hook or by crook, keeping that club in the Premier League. And if it means firing him and bringing someone else in who knows the club, who will inject a bit of positivity, who knows the league and knows the players, knows what is required in between now and the end of the season, then it will have to be done.
Because then you think, you know, that who can come in and if a manager comes in, what does he need to do? Do you bring in a Harry Redknapp that makes you feel good? You know, that gets the best out of the players. When they feel the way they feel, the Igor Tudor come in and is quite, not aggressive, but the way he is, and, you know, you've seen him in warm-ups, watching the warm-up, and you don't really see that managers, you know, barking out instructions. You know, you've had a week to do that, but he wants to do that on a match day in the warm-up. So you can tell that he's that sort of character. So, yeah, it'd be interesting if it happens to see who they bring in. There's been talks about people that have been at the football club, that know the football club, that knows the league and experience a relegation fight, which will probably help. But if they don't, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, and you would think with this 21-day break now,
yeah, if they're going to do it,
this
would be the time to do it. I mean, they look a really fragile bunch of players. They look really weak. So if it is, I guess it's someone who's going to try and, one, is organise them, and two, maybe a little bit of love here and there, somehow to drag a result or drag a performance out of them that can give them the belief. Because at the minute, there's nothing to suggest that their form, particularly at home, is going to change, because it's been that rotten for such a long time now. They're in a huge, huge rut. And over the last 5 games with this manager, nothing's really changed.
No, did need that after 1 goal in 9 Premier League games. So, 7 to play. This is how it stands at the bottom now. It is still West Ham in the drop zone. 1 point behind Spurs. Forest have moved up to 32. They've got a 3-point cushion. And all of a sudden, 1 behind Leeds. You can digest who they've all got left to play as well. Next, it is interesting, the timescale, because West Ham play first on the Friday night. If they beat Wolves, Spurs will be in the relegation zone by the time they play on the Sunday at Sunderland. At the same time, Forest play Villa at home. And then on Monday, Leeds go to Old Trafford. But you can see who they've all got to play. I mean, the standout for Leeds straight away is Wolves and Burnley, the bottom 2 at home. Leeds have to play Spurs. Spurs, as Alan pointed out earlier on, have to go to Chelsea and Villa, and they also have to play Wolves as well. And Burnley at home for Forest in there. West Ham, probably less forgiving after that Wolves home game. But as you can see, West Ham's last game of the season at home to Leeds United. I mean, there's so many permutations. There's 21 points to play for. It's West Ham in the drop zone at the moment. How do you see it now, with 2 of your former clubs involved in that?
I think with West Ham, I've looked at a lot of their performances. I remember Nuno saying a few weeks ago, you know, you just got to try and put in levels of performances, you know, and then hopefully, you know, then that turns into results. I think they've done that. I think they've got match winners in the team. They've got a little bit of sort of like momentum, and they're playing well. I think when you look at Forest, they're a team that's going to fight. They've got leaders, they've got characters, they want to defend. You know, they want to keep clean sheets. And a transition team, that's it, they're used to playing that way. And I think if they score first, they become difficult to beat. Leeds at home, good home form. But I'm worried for Tottenham because the other team seem to be playing well in certain games. But I'm looking at Tottenham. Forget about the Champions League. I'm looking at Tottenham thinking, when was the last time really you look at a Tottenham team and be like, yeah, I can see. Second half against Liverpool a little bit. But Liverpool were terrible on the day. But I'm struggling to find or think of a game where I thought, do you know what, on another day we'd have won that.
Which is why they're 12 league games without a win. West Ham in the drop zone at the moment. Do they stay there or does somebody else go down for you?
Yeah, I would probably say just West Ham still at the minute. But there's no confidence in that. Having seen Spurs and watched Spurs over the last few months and last season, and what I've seen today, I've got no confidence whatsoever to say that they can stay up. They're in a massive hole, and I haven't got a clue how they get out of it.